Hello everyone, my name is Connor Hoffman and welcome back to How to Build. This time I will be showing you how to build Raxus, the Black Sun. Now rather than show you how to build Raxus from the ground up completely, I encourage you to go watch the first How to Build Raxus, and then I'm going to pick up this tutorial right where that tutorial left off. First I'm going to show you how to change the original form of Raxus into his latest version. And then, from there, I'm going to show you how to change that into the Black Sun form. Alright, so if you just watched the first how to build for Raxus, you should be left with something like this. Now, I've set out some extra pieces here. These are all the pieces you'll need to update Raxus to his latest version. So, we're not going into the Black Sun form yet, we're just bringing the Solar Soldier form up to date. So to start with, let's remove some pieces. We're going to take his weapons away first, just so they don't get in the way. And we're actually going to completely set his shotgun aside because he won't be able to use it in his latest form. We're also going to remove his chest piece, like that, and this piece in front, and this entire head assembly right from the inside like that. Now for some simpler changes, all of his CCBS shell armor pieces have been flipped 180 degrees on his latest version. So there's that. And then on the back we're also going to remove his entire back armor plate, like so, and this pin along with it. So you should end up with something like this. Alright, to start with, we're going to make some minor adjustments to the back plate connections. So first of all, we're going to remove this gear piece and the 2-long axle behind it and replace it with this 3-long axle. And replace the gear piece as well. So then we have this 3-long axle sticking out the back, and that's going to have this Technic connector placed just on the exposed axle right there. We're also going to remove this top pin from the structure and replace it with a 3-long pin, and that's just going to remain open like that. So you get something like that. We can go ahead and add it to the back construction just like it was on there originally. So now we have this pin sticking out the back and that connector. This connector is actually to store the his pistol. Also on the back of the legs we're going to replace these yellow 3-long lift arms with black ones because color blocking looks better with the legs being all one color. And make sure all 3 pins remain in there. So that's just a minor color swap there. Those pieces can be set aside. And as well as that, we're going to add some details. So take these 2 silver stud pieces and add them to the shoulder pauldrons right there. One on either side. Just a little added detail, make them look a little bit more official. And next we're going to actually take these 2 yellow washers off these Technic connectors here, and then take these 2 constructions made out of 3-long pins, washers, and 2-long axle lift arms, or as I like to call them, very useful pieces. Just throw those same yellow washers on the end of that piece right there, and then where the washers were before, connect the very useful pieces on like so. That way they stick out just a little bit. You should get something like that. Alright, and next up we're going to add some more Lego studs to the head construction here. So first of all, remove the mask and add 2 yellow Lego studs on the yellow lift arms on the side of his head. This is just to once again improve color blocking and fill in some gaps. And also we're going to do the same thing on the sides of these lift arms with yellow. Just like so. One on either side. And then we're also going to put the black studs on the inside of that same lift arm so that they fill in that little gap between the hand connector and the lift arm there. Like I said before, all of this is just to improve gappiness and a little bits to improve the structure. So we can go ahead and replace his mask, and we can go ahead and put this back on the torso. So just like before, it snaps on those two blue pins right there. And then now that we have this connection, or now that we have these two axles poking out, this thing will go right over top of them and hang in right between where those two connect. And then before, this was only being held on by this slicer foot piece, but now these two axles will hook into the Stronius armor piece and hopefully hold it on stronger from now on. So that just hooks on in exactly the same place it did originally. And those axles don't poke all the way through, but it's just enough to grip them. And it means the torso armor doesn't wiggle or slide around anymore. So that's how you update Raxus's Solar Soldier form to his latest version. These pieces right here you can just add back to your collection because you won't be needing them anymore. Also, well, there's no easy way to put this, but we need to cripple Raxus. So go ahead and remove his arm and his lower leg. That's a legitimate step. Yeah. Now that we've crippled Raxus, let's fix him up a little and build him a new peg leg. Alright, now for Raxus's peg leg, these are the parts you'll need. To get started, let's go ahead and take these two pieces, layer them on top of each other like so, and then take this 3-long axle with a pass-through ball joint on it and stick that on one side. And then on the other side, take a 3-long axle with one of these Technic connectors on it and stick it on the other side so that it sticks into both sides of the lift arm there, and then mirror it on the other side with the same construction. So this is the sort of look you're gonna get. Also, for a little bit of detail, take these two faucet pieces, stick them into the side of the lift arm like so, and they'll stick into the axle hole of that piece right there. And then they'll be angled just like so. Alright, next up we're going to take, we're going to set that down. We're going to take this antenna piece from LEGO System, add 2 yellow washers onto it and slide it all the way up, like so. And then take a very useful piece and slide that all the way up as well, so you get something like that. And then go ahead and take these two system bricks, the cone piece and the rocket piece, and stick that onto the axle just like so. So you get that. Then at the same time we're going to take this, we're going to take our previous construction and this little oxygen minifigure tank thing and just hold that over there while we slide this on the very useful piece up the construction like so, till we get something like that. And this should be a little loose, but that's alright. I usually just try and keep it positioned straight behind. Okay, and then next up we're going to take this new axle extender piece that came on the new Star Wars sets. This one came from K2SO, I believe. Just stick that on the axle on the bottom there. And last but not least, you're going to take this 3-long axle that I got from the Creature of Jungle, attach that to a 2-long axle extender, and just add that to the end right there. That's how you build Rex's peg leg. Next up, I'll show you how to build his massive freaking gun arm. Alright, this is how you build Raxus's gun arm. These are the parts you'll need. Let me explain a few things first. This here is a 10-long axle, and it's going into a pair of very useful pieces, and a 3-long axle here with 2 of these Technic connectors on either side, and a axle to pin conversion piece. This over here is the Onua Mystica gun armor shield piece, and right over here is a stack of a stack of thin lift arms. Let me try and get this in the light for you. Stack of thin lift arms connected to one of these style lift arms with a 3 long pin and a 3 long axle. And then I also have a slicer foot piece here with 2 washers on it and a 3 long axle with a stopper on the end. And a CCBS bone here with a tire pushed over it. And the rest I'll explain on the way. So to start with, we'll take this piece right here, this black wheel piece. They're fairly new. I think this came from one of the 2016 sets. But we're going to start by taking this and a lightsaber rod piece on the back. We're going to stick that basically until it's flush on the inside like so. Then we're going to add this wheel piece from it's the same piece as one of those Glatorian like game life counter pieces. So that just sticks on just like that. And then we're going to throw a yellow washer on the end of that, push it all the way down, and then a yellow system dish piece, push that all the way down, and then another one of these new axle extender pieces from the new Star Wars sets. Once again, this one came from K2SO. And then that's the end of the gun right there. Now for the connections to the rest of the gun, we're going to take these 2 3 long blue pins. We're going to stick those on either side with their appropriate Technic connectors attached as well, obviously. So those go on either side of the wheel piece like so. And then on this top blue pin right here, we're going to take this new pin piece that recently came out, attach it right there so it sticks up. And that's actually the bottom of the gun, so everything that will be pointing towards the bottom. Next we're going to take the long axle piece, and where this axle is sticking out up here, we're going to attach that to the top opening right there, and it's going to slot in just like so. So we get that. And then next we're going to take these 2 yellow Technic connector pieces with a 2 long pin and that little those new washer pieces on it. And that's going to go with the washer piece facing down on either side of those blue pins. So just like that. And also we're going to stick these 2 yellow 3 long axles on either side with the cone pieces on the end, just on those Technic connectors. So we get that. Alright, next we're going to slide this big wheel piece that came on the Muwaka from 2001. Slide that all the way down the axle so it hits the end like that. And then on the bottom of that, we're going to place this scroll armor piece on these 2 exposed pins. Scroll armor also has a little cone piece on the end. So that just sticks on just like that. Beautiful. Alright. Next up, we're going to add a gray washer, just like so. And then we're going to set that down and then switch over to this tri-piece right here. On the straight side of the tri-piece, you'll know because it lines up with the top of the plus right there. You're going to stick this silver ball joint piece, and then you're going to flip it upside down, and then on either side you're going to attach a hand connector. And these hand connectors also have ball joints in them, a 2 long axle, and these 1x2 plates stuck onto the sides. So you get that. And then we're going to go ahead and slide that down the 10 long axle all the way until it hits the other washer. And then you're going to cap it off on the other end with another gray washer, like so, until you get that. And then also remove the scroll armor piece for a second. We're going to take a little racing tire, slide that over the top of the ball joint until it, won't go any further. And then you can put that back on. Just adds a little bit more filler on the inside right there. And then we're also going to add these 2 silver Borak eyes on either side, and then just flip them down so that they lay basically lined up perfectly with the gaps in the scroll armor, like so. Alright, next part, we're going to take this other wheel piece like so, and we're going to attach one of these Technic connectors to the top, and then 2 of these shorter version of the same connector on either side with blue pins, and just have them line up like so. And then next we're going to take these 2 Technic connectors, and on either side just slide them in as far as they'll go. just like that. Oh goodness, facing this direction, I'm gonna say. We're gonna put these two things on, and these are the 3 long axle, 2 long axle and 1 long pin connections. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna make sure that's facing the right direction first before I move on. Woohoo! I actually got it right the first time. Okay. Yes. So we're gonna take that, and we're just gonna slide that on the end of the axle once again, all the way down, so it lines up neat with the next set. Also, we're gonna go back and take these little faucet pieces and the droid arms. We're gonna stick them in the sides of these connectors right here. So do that on either side. And then you're just gonna fold these back over and then just push them down right there, just for a little bit more filler, just like that. And then next up, we're gonna take this this big wheel piece, just stick that over the axle right there, and then follow that up with this big scuba like propeller piece. On either side there's one of those new short pin connector pieces, and then that's just going to line up perfectly so that it goes in all of the connectors like so. And then on the axles that stick out, just add 2 washers on the end just to cap it off. Alright, and then on the inside, take this little gear piece, stick that over the axle, and then we're almost done. Let's move over to this part here. Take one of these pieces and slide a tire over the end, just like so. Take this slicer foot piece that I showed you earlier, stick that over it, and then stick that onto it so that the slicer foot points down. And then you get something like that. Next, we're going to build the connection point for the top here. So take the big Onua shield piece, and then take one of these take one of these new pieces, like I've showed you before a million times, hook it over the middle axle right there, so it sticks out the bottom. And then you're going to take this displaced thin lift arm piece and stick that over the new connector piece. And then you're going to cap it off on the other side with another one of these. This one has a stud with a pin, or a pin with a stud on it, facing down, and another 1x2 thin plate on the top. And that's just going to clip right into there and attach to the axle as well. So that just fills in like so. And then on the bottom where that axle is exposed, just take one of these little tooth system pieces. I just stick that over the axle like that, just for a bit of filler. And then on the front, we're going to take this lift arm piece with a 1.5 long pin, stick that in the very end hole of that, and then on the end we're going to take this Technic connector, a 2 long axle, and then a 4 long lightsaber rod that sticks out the front, and then stick that right there, add a very useful piece onto the bottom like so. And then we're going to take this whole construction we built earlier, and that just fits right into the hollow point right there. Just like so. And then as soon as you built that, you can pretty much line it up. Take that hole right there on that piece and line it up with that axle that's sticking out the top. And then everything else should just slot into place. So these two holes on the side here, and then this axle sticking out the bottom, the ones on the side will clip into those pieces on the side, and then the axle will stick into the hand connector. Looks like I did something wrong. This little tooth piece has to be facing the opposite direction, because it actually fits right in between a gap right here. And then you got to make sure this thing is facing forward, otherwise the axles aren't going to line up. Alright, and that's how you construct the gun itself. Now his upper arm is as simple as just a CCBS link, and this is going to face like so on top of that, and then that's just going to snap into the ball joint at the end. And you've got Raxus's new gun arm with all its complicated glory. Next step is to show you how to build the wing pack. So we'll start with the pack and then we'll do the wings. Alright, now for the pack portion of Raxus's wing pack, To start with, we're going to take a look at this. This is just a another one of those 2 long lift arms with a axle and a pin connection, with two long pin and 1 long axle conversion pieces. These are 4 long axles right here, just pushed all the way into a cone with a washer on the other end. And this actually is the back panel for K2SO with 2 1x1 square plates right there. So to start, we're going to take these 2 4 long pins with the cones on the end and just stick them into this connector on either side, just like so. And then we're going to take these 2 hand connectors with their friction adders on the ends, the friction extensions. I don't really know what they're called officially, but that's what they do. So stick those on either end of that those axles, and then just cap off the top with another connection. As you can see, the axles don't go all the way through. That's because these need to be secure as much as possible. Okay, so next up, you're going to take these 2 pieces, connect them just like so that they clip together perfectly, just like that. This is also one of those 3 long axle pin conversion pieces, but with a 2 long axle on it. Then you're going to take the K2SO back plate, and this is just going to snap in perfectly just like that onto all the connector holes. And then take your construction with the hand connectors and the Technic connectors and just snap that all over the 2 exposed pins. Take this wheel piece, add this 2 long axle to the back with a washer on it, just like so. And then this will just snap onto the end, just like that. And then last but not least, add these 2 slicer foot pieces to the hand connectors. So just 1 on either side. And that's how you build the base of the wing pack. Now I'm going to show you how to build one of the wings. Alright, now to build his wing, these are the parts you'll need. Special note is that the wings are mirrored, but not only are they mirrored, but 3 of the pieces on the wings are also mirrored pieces themselves. So this piece right here will have a different part ID than the other opposite wing. So just keep that in mind. The pieces themselves are also mirrored. To start with, we got these panels from Onua 2016, and I've just attached a 1x2 plate on the side of that. These are the Technic panels from Muaka once again, and then this is the big Technic panel that came on one of the Exoforce sets, Iron Condor. That one actually has the stickers on it still from the set itself, which is part of the reason why I wanted to use these, because they have the same color scheme as Raxus, and that was pretty freaking awesome. And then these, I got these on I think it's what's his name, the little red guy from 2009 who had a little vehicle. I think that came from that. But yeah, other than that, this little black wing, I don't know where it came from. I got it off Bricklink, but it's connected with one of those new axle pin conversion pieces as well. And also, special note is on this piece, you don't need a 2 long axle on the opposite side. You only need 1 on this one. So to start with, we're going to take the biggest wing right here, and we're going to attach this this construction here out of the lift arm, this 3 long pin connection piece, and a pass-through ball joint and a 2 long axle. That's just going to snap over the inside of the bottom right there. And then you're going to cap it off on the other side with another one of those pieces and a 3 long axle that just snaps in on the opposite side, just like so. So that fits on just like that. And we also have this 3 long pin here. We're going to go ahead and attach this just like so to that 3 long pin right there, just like that. And we're actually going to make sure it keeps the curve going. This can actually turn, and it can go past it, but it takes a little bit of force to get it past that, so we won't be doing that. Take this construction here out of these various Technic pieces, attach that to the top of that piece just like so, and you can go ahead and just push it back like that. And then this construction here is 2 of those new pieces, as well as a double pinhole 2 long lift arm, and that just snaps over the whole thing like so on the top, just like that. and it should still rotate with that on the top, like so. And then on the end, we'll just simply attach this new piece right here. And then on this hole in the construction right there, we're gonna take this mini construction, just pop that on the end right there, create a little gun barrel effect. And then underneath that, we're gonna take one of these 2 long lift arms with a axle and a pin connection piece. We're gonna stick that on the pin connection piece right here, like so. And then we're gonna push it back as far as it'll go. And then on that connector, we're going to place this panel just sitting there, like so. And then last but not least, take this section and just snap that onto the end right there. And then flip it forward. Now this whole construction is meant to fold up, so that's why this connection is so loose right here. It's because you're meant to flip it forward like that and then snap it in, just like so. And then fold this back and push that flat. So yeah, that's how the wing folds up to its smallest form. It's also obviously meant to unfold as wide as possible. Just like that. Creates a nice curve. Yeah, but last but not least, we'll attach the CCBS. So this is just a normal CCBS link right here with a thin tire on it to not hinder articulation very much. This goes ahead and snaps on the ball joint right here, like so. And then you're gonna snap this CCBS shell over the top of it, just like that. Now we can mirror that till we have 2. And like I said before, this one doesn't have to have an axle piece sticking out of it. That's just for the transformation function of the wings. And then let's just take the jetpack piece here, and obviously the socket and the ball joint connect, just like so. And there you have Raxus's wings. Now let's show you how to piece them all together. Now we got all the pieces of Raxus assembled, it's time to show you how to piece them all together. So it's fairly obvious where to start here. Go ahead and give him his peg leg, so that just attaches right there onto his lower leg, and that's one of the reasons we flipped his armor upside down, is because his peg leg wouldn't be able to articulate very well if that was covering it. So that's one limb down. Next we can attach the shoulder, or the gun arm to his shoulder right there, just as you would the normal version, except this time his arm is like 20 times heavier. Alright, and we can go ahead and put his pistol in his hand as well, because he can still use that one-handed, but not his shotgun. Alright, and for his wing pack, all we simply need to do is take the entire wing construction, and on the second hole in the K2SO backplate, just attach that straight to this pin right here. And it's just a simple 1-pin connection, and it holds on beautifully. Just like so. So you get something like that, and that is how you build Raxus in his Black Sun form. Alright guys, that is it, and that is how you build Raxus. If you liked the video, please leave a like and a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I should have awesome Bionicle videos like this coming out every other week from now on, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of it. For our next How to Build, we will be doing how to build Yukare, the long-awaited Great Being of Spirits. However, that won't come out until September. My next video will actually be pretty special. I will be releasing a fancy audio version of Night of Nights Noxus' Story Prologue 1 to commemorate the release online of Night of Nights Noxus' Story Prologue 2, and that pattern will continue into the future as I write more chapters of my story. So please be sure to watch that when it comes out in 2 weeks. If you follow the instructions of this MOC to build any MOC you like, whether it be your own or your own version of this MOC, please feel free to share it with me, post it down in the comments below, and I will link to it in the description and in the comments for the awesome people section. But for now guys, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next How to Build.